This week is NAIDOC Week, Australia's National Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander Celebration Week. And here at the TSO, we are absolutely delighted to welcome back our friend Dwayne Everett-Smith to talk about an upcoming project that the orchestra is really excited to have been invited to be involved in. In fact, I'm pretty sure it's going to be deadly. Dwayne, you're planning an upcoming album, aren't you? Could you tell us a little bit about it?
Yeah, so we've been working on this collection of songs for a little while now, and the songs in Palawakani, Tasmanian Aboriginal language. And why it's taken me such a long time to get to this point, I suppose, is because I'm reviving songs of ceremony, you know, as an impact of colonisation and invasion, British colonisation and invasion. We lost our songs and our songs of ceremony, and large chunks of our language as well. We lost that. We had 16 unique separate languages here in Lutruwita, Tasmania. And so reviving those songs through Palawakani, it's taken a lot of work. Because one, you want to get it right. You know, the songs of ceremony, we're reviving an element of our culture and our way of being. And two, you want them to represent the cultural values as well. But also you want to use those songs to bridge the gap of understanding, you know, close that gap of understanding between Aboriginal people and non-Aboriginal people with these songs, you know, hopefully. Not just the Aboriginal community, but the whole of the community in Tasmania will be able to acknowledge these songs as a place where they call home, which is Lutruwita, Tasmania.
It sounds like a real cultural treasure that hopefully we're going to be able to preserve and revitalise here, which is just really an honour for us to be invited to be involved in.
Yeah, absolutely. And that is, that when you consider that, you consider the impacts of colonisation and invasion over Aboriginal people, and that, you know, we had 16 distinct, unique languages, and that through that we lost those full languages. And Palawakani is a combination of those 16 traditional languages. We've revived a language from those languages, those 16 traditional languages. So when you consider the fact that we're forbidden from speaking our languages, doing our songs and dances, to now we can speak a whole language, that's quite an achievement. It shows the resilience of Aboriginal people and our willingness to put pieces of our cultural picture back together, you know. So that's why it means a lot. And you know, we get a lot of kind of things said about our languages as well, you know, that it's made up, that you know, it's not the real language, we've made it up, but our language comes from those 16 traditional languages. Palawakani is from those original languages. This is something quite unique for us to be able to speak in our language and sing in our language, and to collaborate with the TSO to bring those sounds and that ceremony alive is quite an achievement. To say that we can be here and be doing this right now, not only should the Aboriginal community be very proud that they've gotten us to this point and to be able to sing song and language, but also the TSO willing to come on board and be a part of that journey and help us build that framework and that foundation.
Oh, look, there's no doubt that all of us here at the TSO think that it's a remarkable and valuable thing that's been done here with the revival of this language. You talked a little bit about the sounds just then, the sounds of this music, and perhaps you could tell us a little bit about the traditions of music making that you're going to be exploring.
Yeah, so the first thing I really had to explore is how do I revive these songs in their most genuine and authentic way. You know, I just didn't want to come up with a nice melody. And for it to sound nice. That wasn't the aim. The aim is, where did these songs come from? And not only speaking the language and the melodies, but where do those melodies and those rhythms come from? And an important place for us as Aboriginal fellas is country, is the environment, is the land itself. And so, you know, looking at these songs and really nutting out what they mean and what their purpose is. And, you know, we got the Pachula song, which is the fire song. And the rhythm of that song comes from a burning fire or a cool fire. That is part of our fire stick farming process. So I've gotten the rhythm, or I've created the rhythm from listening to a fire. Our water song, our cleansing song, I've got the rhythm or the melody from listening to the river. And so all of them come from a really authentic place, being country. And same with the song that I'm going to sing in language today, Miladina Nika Manamapuli. That song is an acknowledgement of our connection as Aboriginal people to this country, Lutruwita, Tasmania. And it's a really important part of our cultural values that we remain connected not only to country, but to the waterways, but also to our creation, which is in the sky. And so this song runs from high to low throughout, and that's because I'm acknowledging the connection between our creation in the sky, our land, and our waterways. So, you know, everything for me had to come from a really authentic cultural value place.
That's really beautiful, and certainly I think we all share the belief that these wonderful, beautiful cultural ideas and values can be really so beautifully acknowledged with the medium of music.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And how awesome is it that people all over Lutruwita, not just Aboriginal people, can in time be able to sing these songs and say, this is where I'm from, this is my country, this is where I'm from, and I connect to one of the oldest continuous cultures in the world, being the Tasmanian Aboriginal people. You know, I think that's quite phenomenal and instills a high level of unique identity that you won't find anywhere else in the world. And I think that's the gap between Aboriginal people and non-Aboriginal people. We've always maintained our connection and our unique identity. But we're finding the confidence, like Uncle Jimmy Everett says, to open that cultural box and to allow people to come and be part of that journey with us as Aboriginal fellas. And I think these language songs allow non-Aboriginal people to do that in a meaningful way, in a culturally appropriate way.
I think this will be a very special project that the orchestra will have the privilege of being involved in. So yeah,
it's going to be
really
fantastic. It's going to be deadly.
Yeah,
That's what
absolutely.
it's going to be.
Great. Yeah. And maybe just lastly, you could tell us a little bit about music making, different sort of styles that you'll be exploring. We were chatting just a little bit earlier,
Yes.
and you mentioned a few of the different ways that were used to make music, just apart from singing.
Yeah, so, you know, in Tasmania, something that's quite unique, you know, we didn't have the didgeridoo here, we didn't have the climate to be able to make didgeridoo, so we didn't have the didgeridoo. And so the ways that we made music was through using river rock, our bodies, or the ground, hitting the ground, but we also had our own version of a drum as well that we used to use to create music. But a lot of our culture and a lot of our music was shared through these avenues of using country to kind of bring alive the music and the rhythm. You know, so that river rock, the river rock is one of my favourite musical instruments that we have. I just think it's so grounding, so authentic, so piercing too, especially if you get that right river rock that has that treble in it, that ear-piercing treble that it's quite hits the spirit, you know, just really hits home. Yeah.
Fantastic. Well, certainly here at the orchestra we do enjoy a good challenge, and I think being introduced to these sounds and then having the people who might arrange this music for us and then the instrumentalists try to actually realise it will be, you know, it'll be a real challenge for us to find something authentic, and we'll really look forward to that.
Yeah, but what a journey. What a journey to kind of see how our two worlds can come together, you know, and acknowledge that connection and that collaboration. I think it's going to be a journey from a cultural perspective and from a musical perspective. You know, I know both those worlds quite well. I think when we get to that end, you know, and there we can create that music together, I think that's the moment we go, we've really achieved something quite magical.
I think so too, and we look forward to sharing it with you.
Fantastic.
Well, thank you very much for speaking with us, Duane, and now we look forward to enjoying your performance.
Thanks, Will. Thank you.
Milai dina nika wawanda balwa